Hi guys, so I'm back at the hospital, believe it or not. I'm now doing my 37-week update and it's been a bit of a strange week. I thought I would have actually had the baby by now. I'm 38 weeks today, but I'm just going over what happened during the 37th week. So a couple of days ago, I think it was, I'm losing track of time now, but I kind of went into labour and the contractions would be quite regular for about an hour and then they would stop for about another hour and then they would pick up again and then it would stop, and then it got to the point where the contractions were quite strong for an hour, and they were 3 minutes apart and lasting a minute long each, so I only had a 2-minute break between. So I said to my husband, maybe you ought to call the midwife now, because I think this is it. You know, I'd like lost my mucus plug, my bowels had cleared out, all the usual signs of that your body's preparing to go into labour. And yeah, the contractions were quite intense. I mean, nothing that I needed any pain relief for or anything like that, but they were definitely strong, intense, you know, lasting a minute. Yeah, so the midwives came round, and as soon as my husband phoned the midwife, my contractions stopped, and so the midwife turned up and I just said, this is really embarrassing, it's all just stopped. But they stayed with me for quite a while. There were 2 of them, and then it was the end of their shift, and then another 2 came and stayed with me for a bit longer because they were convinced it was going to happen. I had a couple of contractions while they were there and they were feeling my tummy and were like, yeah, that's quite strong, and they were absolutely convinced it was going to happen as well, but it didn't. So after a while I just said, look, I don't think it's happening today. So they said, okay, well, we'll go and just give us a call. She gave me her mobile number and just said, just call straight through to my mobile number and we'll come straight round if it starts again. So but yeah, after they went, it just stopped. It was so disappointing. But apparently the reason that it stopped, because they tested my urine, it's because I had ketones, and that is because I hadn't slept the previous night and I was exhausted and I hadn't eaten, so my body had run out of energy basically to carry on with the labour. But anyway, so last night I had a reasonable night's sleep. I've eaten lots of food, and now I have an appointment. Well, I've already been to one appointment this morning to have blood tests, so I've had that done this morning at the doctor's surgery, and now I'm at the hospital and I'm going to see the consultant. This was going to be a phone appointment, but I phoned up and said, shall I just come in, because, you know, really I just need to come in. Let's see what's going on. So I'm pretty tired today. I've caught this cold that everyone else has got in my house. It's not COVID, we've done the test for that. Anyway, I always bring a good book when I go to the hospital. This one's called The Doll. I don't know how you say the author's name. It's Icelandic and it's like a crime detective novel. It's pretty good so far, about a quarter of the way through. But yeah, always take a good book when you go to hospital, because I can imagine I might be here a while. We'll see. Maybe I'll get sent for another scan, who knows. Gonna have to wait around. But yeah, so that is the update. So today I'm 38 weeks, and that's according to my dates. According to the hospital's scan dates, I am a day overdue. So I shall leave it there for now, and then I'll update you more once I have heard what the consultant has to say. So after a couple of hours I'm finally out of the hospital. I saw the consultant, and of course they wanted to induce me today because of the excess fluid that I've got, and the baby's head is not as low as it should be, which was probably what was preventing me from going into labour properly before. You know, that the head's not able to properly engage because I've got too much fluid, and there's quite a big risk of there being a prolapse cord, so, which is, you know, a big emergency, and I live quite far away from the hospital, so they really want to induce me, but I've asked them if I can come in and be induced tomorrow rather than today, so I can kind of get a good night's sleep and just prepare myself mentally. So they've agreed to that, but I cried my eyes out like an absolute idiot. It's not exactly how I wanted things to go, but... Good morning. Well, it's the next day now. I was in a bit of a state yesterday, so I thought I would explain things a little better today, now that I've had a chance to calm down a bit. As you can see, I've just packed my hospital bags. There's a video either before this one or just after this one, I don't know when I'm uploading at the moment, showing you what I've packed in my hospital bag if you're interested in that. But yes, this pregnancy has not gone exactly how I had hoped or planned. I wanted an unassisted pregnancy with an unassisted birth at home, but things changed, and it turns out that my baby has got some problems with his kidneys, and there are other problems as well. I have excess fluid. As you can hear, I'm actually quite ill with a cold at the moment, but you know, that's nothing to do with it. I'm just explaining why my voice sounds a bit funny. So I've got the excess fluid, which is the thing that they're really worried about. So I went to see the consultant yesterday, and he was saying, you know, we would really like to induce you. Now, by my dates, I was 38 weeks yesterday when I saw the consultant. By their scan, they think I'm 2 weeks ahead, so they think I'm full term. But I know my dates are right, but yeah, so he's keen to induce me, not only because he thinks that I'm full term and, you know, my age and how many babies I've had and all those supposed risks, but because of this excess fluid, then it can cause quite a lot of different problems. The number one thing that I think they're concerned about is that my waters are going to break, and the cord is going to come out before the baby, and that's a huge emergency, and we live quite far away from the hospital, so they'd rather I was there. So a couple of days ago I thought I was in labour. I had contractions, but it turns out I wasn't, and well, I was, but the baby, the head wasn't in. I just got delivered a cup of tea, which is nice. So yeah, the reason it seems that labour wasn't progressing when I was having all those contractions a couple of days ago is that the baby's head can't seem to engage because of all the excess fluid. So at the moment, where if you can imagine, that's my pelvis, the baby's head is like at the side here, and it's not going down that way because of the excess fluid. So yeah, that's awkward. So I'm quite exhausted because I had 24 hours of labour but it not progressing, and then I've got ill, and now I'm going to be induced. I've got a couple of hours until I go to the hospital, and yes, I'm very, I don't know if I'm nervous. I think I'm nervous about it. I've been induced once before, and I know that inductions are more painful than when you go into labour naturally, and I always said that if I ever had to be induced again, that I would only be induced if I could have an epidural. You know, like I said, I've gone from one extreme to the other. Wanted to have an unassisted birth with no pain relief, and now I'm thinking about having it, well, I am having an induction and then possibly having an epidural. I asked the midwife about that yesterday, whether I could have an epidural, and they said that yeah, should be able to. They don't see a reason why not. I just hope that the whole process doesn't go on for too long, because I know inductions can take a long time, but considering I've already been in labour a bit, and yeah, that I've had babies before. Hopefully it won't be too long. So I'm sorry if I've disappointed any of you with how things have turned out, because I know some of you must have been following along thinking, oh, this is going to be an unassisted pregnancy and birth, and it is now the complete opposite. So apologies for that. It's not something that I wanted. But yeah, when I was speaking to the consultant yesterday, and he was saying that, you know, he thinks that I should be induced, and he was giving all these reasons and all these big scary things that he was saying. I won't even mention it because I don't think he should have tried to scare me quite that much, but I was quite strong, and I was saying no, I don't want to be induced, I don't want to be induced. And then I spoke to the midwife that was in the room there as well, and she was so nice, lovely, and she just looked really concerned and said, you know, because of the position of your baby's head and the excess water, she really would recommend that I have this baby at hospital and be induced, because it's just a lot safer for me and the baby. And I just burst into tears because I suddenly just thought, you know what, it's just not worth taking the risk. I don't need to be tough and brave and, you know, try and fight it. I just need to accept that this baby's got some problems. He needs to be in the hospital anyway after he's born to have the checks done on his kidneys. So I just cried because I just suddenly realised I can't fight this any longer. Just gonna have to do it. So anyway, I don't want to start again. So now, yeah, I'm going to go and have this baby. Hopefully tonight, maybe he'll be born tomorrow, we'll see. So in the next video you should be meeting my baby, hopefully. I'm not still pregnant for some weird reason. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.